these are choices you get to make continually. So when a guy's breadcrumbing you, instead of going, oh, and then going the old thing of trying to get him to do this and everything, stop for a second. Ask your coach in any of these containers on Siren School, if you have one, or get an urgent care one session, or, go into the feminine energy workshop, whatever you can manage to get basically your immediate situation addressed quickly, is you have to just try a new way. You're going to experiment like a scientist. Instead of going down the same road, you've always gone down the same neural pathway, the same situation, do the same thing, you say the same thing, you think the same thing. You're going to have to go, whoop, start from scratch. How does that feel from scratch? Here's a guy, and he says all these things, and that feels good to me. And then I don't hear from him. And I feel weird. I feel drawn to him instead of him coming to me. I feel drawn to him. Oh, then you go, oh, that's old stuff. That's what I did last year. Oh, that's what I did with the last guy. Oh, that's what I did with my dad. Oh, I remember how much I liked that kid in 5th grade, and that's what I did. And I wore this silly scarf because I'm not going to do that again. What shall I do? And that's when you ask us and you read the stuff and you go, hi, and you practice dropping down into yourself and breathing and opening your mouth and smiling and choosing between all of the emotions in your soup, which one you're going to entertain. And it's different. And all of a sudden you'll feel afraid instead of safe for a moment. And that should be, oh, that feels different. I feel kind of on edge because I just said something kind of transparent. I just said something kind of authentic instead of what I thought he wanted to hear. And whoa, that was scary. But I promise you, I absolutely promise you, I'm looking directly in the camera here now. I promise you, you will get used to it. That's what they call growth. That's how a plant grows. I mean, maybe a plant was very safe inside that seed, right? And then pop opens and sprout out a little bit. And it's like, oh my gosh, big world, chick coming out of a shell. I mean, oh my gosh, baby opening its eyes, and oh my gosh. Well, a baby can either be terrified of everything that comes at her, if people come at her with faces and like that, and automatically start building a fear profile in herself, or she might see people standing there and smiling, leaning back, opening their arms to her, willing to hold her, touch her without pushing her in anything. When she cries, they switch up, they hear her crying, they pick her up, they move something. So she starts to grow into, hey, the world loves me. Everything is kind of just falling into place for me. And no matter what your background was, because most babies do not get that, but you are now your own baby, opening your eyes for the first time. And right away, because your patterns, people are going to come at you and scare you. And things are going to happen that feel natural and okay, which is distance. Warmth is going to feel scary. Let yourself do it slowly. That's what circular dating is for. Learning to receive warmth and affection and attention and not label it as unsafe. And you have to grow into that slowly, like the plant, by little, okay, I can take more sun, I can take more sun. You know what? I'm going to grow a flower. Whoa. Think of it however you like, whatever metaphor and idea you like. I mean, the flower growing is one thing. How about an evergreen plant that lives forever? Okay. It still, for the first time, comes up and goes, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Okay. So forget instincts. Forget your patterning and start to recognize when you're doing the same thing you did last week or last year, and just try a little more bravery, a little more sun, a little more love shining on you, touching on you, and it will shift. The breadcrumb guys will just disappear. And the guys who give you more energy that scared you before or turned you off before will start to turn you on. You can repattern yourself. So let's call it repatterning. I believe there's a whole technique for therapy called repatterning, but let's make up our own. Whoever patterned you, the whole world patterned you, and now you're here. Now it's in your hands, your authentic hands. Now you get to love every part of you that has been patterned and accept it and love it and say, oh, you tried to keep me safe. You helped me survive my whole life. Wow. I love you, Rory. Natalina says, I love you, Natalina. I love that part that just tried to keep me safe, even though it kept love away. I understand you kept love away because you needed to keep me safe. But now I'm bigger. Now I'm going to open up a little more. I don't want to scare you too much. I know how scary that is. We don't want to scare ourselves here. But I'm just going to try a little more warmth. I'm going to listen to this guy who's all over me. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to listen to him. And then I'm going to say something not like patterning. I'm going to repattern. I'm going to go, you know, I hear that you really enjoy your work and you have a lot to say about it. I also feel kind of weird that I don't know whether I can express myself with you or not. Or I feel I would like to talk too. In other words, you're going to start changing the way you interact with men who have a lot to offer you. And instead of instinctively pushing them away, you're going to get into your instinct, love it, and then use your feminine energy, intuition, which you can shift and change and grow to accept more light, more air, more life, more sound, more noise. If you're a highly sensitive person, you can slowly learn to accept more light. You'll wear sunglasses or little monitor glasses instead of closing yourself down. There are ways to shift slowly and feel safe enough. So that's my breadcrumbing lecture.
Thank you so much, Rory. There's so much here. And I'm like, no, I'd love to hear more of how this is resonating for everyone. And if it's still up in us next week, it may be really cool to go into more of like the 4-week relationship.
I would love to. I mean,
Okay.
some of those are the most fun of my life. You just
Awesome.
don't want to make those last a year and a half and then wonder where that time went.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just don't want to be fooling yourself for the sake of something exciting.
So many so many wonderful things here. And the whole, and this is something that I personally got from you, is the getting excited about when we find ourselves feeling not good. That was a total game changer just from listening to your programs and from the beginning is, oh, I'm feeling something. And then letting that be a cue to go a different path than going to, instinct. So it's just so lovely. Well, thank you again, Rory, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.